Hello guys and welcome to episode number 45 of What the Tech. My name is Lobo.
And I'm Vernon. Great to be back.
So for this week's episode, we'll be talking about the device that we've been having for the longest time, which is 3 months later. Actually, technically it's 4 months if you're watching it right now, which is the Vivo X300 Pro. I want to dive deeper a bit to talk about this and of course the response that we have during the whole entire time. But in terms of the tech news, it's a little interesting. We thought that it's going to slow down, but towards the end of the week, it's getting a bit more interesting where Vivo goes turbo and Xiaomi is cooking or creating a monster.
Yeah.
So that is what we're going to be talking about. Speaking of which, the Vivo X300 Pro, the 3 months later video is up 20K. Probably not the highest compared to the bigger YouTubers in the world, but for us, it's quite a big deal. When we are recording this, it's 4 days ago, so 20K. So thank you so much. I'm glad that you like this long-term review as opposed to the excitement. Because you know what happens, right? When there's a new phone, there's always it's all the hype and all. And after 2 months, after 3 months, and we are definitely going to be revisiting this after a year as well. So that is the video. In case you guys haven't watched it, be sure to check it out because it's not about the specs. It's not about which feature works the best. It's about how different it is now in 3 months later. So I'm going to be breaking down exactly like what I mentioned in the video, but except that I'm going to dive in deeper to the parts where I liked about it and where are the areas and why I actually chose that. The first thing is this, the telephoto extender kit. Now, this was something whereby when I bought it, I was like, okay, it's cool. But I did not find myself using it as much as I wanted to because I was like, the idea of carrying one more accessory was a bit more mafan, or in a lack of a better English word, is definitely a bit more,
inconvenient.
Yes, inconvenient because you want to bring an extra item, right? But what has happened is that because it is a case itself, so what I've done is that in order for me to bring it outside, I just put it on the case and just leave it on, and I just have to bring this cover. The reason why I brought this is because the optical quality at 200 mm is really good. So that's one of the reasons why I use this more than I thought it would. And whenever it comes to a weekend, I'm like, okay, yes, you have your smartphone camera, but bringing this just makes it a bit more versatile. Now, before I move on further, if you were in my position, would you go through the hassle to actually bring this out on the go?
Yeah, I mean, if you're like a photography enthusiast, it's the same way you purposefully carry a point and shoot camera with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to bring it just in case I'm just going to do a walk. Maybe there'll be interesting stuff to capture. The same way I would figure that's the point of it. I think that's the whole point of it anyway.
Yeah, good point.
It's to... Yeah, it's a point and shoot a device.
Because there's one session that we had a pickleball session where you actually brought another camera.
Yeah, so it's purposeful.
Yeah.
You know that, okay, today I want to go shoot some photos or videos.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing that with me.
And we all know that when it comes to telephoto lenses, the shallow depth of field is nice. Of course, the minimum focus distance is quite far, which is perfect for situations where you are going and shooting landscape pictures or even sports pictures and all, because you get a nice shallow depth of field without actually going very close to the person or the subject. So yeah, if you're one of those people, you would definitely do that.
And like you like to shoot like architecture and stuff. So it's the perfect little device.
It is. So if you ask me whether or not it's worth the money, if you are the kind of person who just wants to take pictures, which is typically out of the ordinary, which gives you the point and shoot experience, this is something which is really great. Because yes, I was one of the people who thought that it's a cool gimmick to have, but the more I use this, the more I don't travel without it. So that is something which is actually very good. I also found a hack because I like to take macro shots, but I just cannot take how certain phones have this issue of focusing on macro shots, especially the minimum focus distance. Now, while the minimum focus distance is still not close because it's a telephoto lens, but it's easier to focus because it's using optical quality. So although the flower is probably far away, but you can capture the focus better than a typical digital macro where it uses the ultra wide or uses the telephoto. So that is one of the hacks that I also found as well. Also, when it comes to video, compared to other options out there like the iPhone or even Xiaomi or even Huawei, unfortunately, the Huawei Pura series does not record log in Malaysia because it's using EMUI, not Harmony OS. So it's a software limitation, which sucks because they are capable
That's
of.
a bit sucky.
I know, because when Liu and I went to China, we played around with the Pura 80 Ultra in China. They had log and it was not available here. And then we kind of obviously asked Huawei why. And they said it's because it's a Harmony OS versus EMUI kind of issue. So I guess that's one of the limitations that you see. But one of the best things that I found is that the portrait video on this is very compatible. I didn't mention that in our 3-month review. Very compatible, if not better at times when it comes to age detection, and the subject is the portrait video up to 60 FPS. That is even something that the iPhone cannot do. Like log recording, I still love how log recording does on an iPhone because it's ProRes and the amount of details that it can capture and adjust on a ProRes is so much better. But the log on a Xiaomi phone and also on a Vivo phone has been really great. And knowing the fact that it can shoot up to 4K, 120 FPS, again, it beats your typical, like your Sony A7S IIIs of the world because it can actually do the same. So what's interesting is that compared to, which I'm actually, spoiler alert, doing a comparison video between the between the Vivo X300 Pro versus the Huawei Pura 80 Ultra, because I feel like it's necessary. But compared to a lot of phones out there, which does overheat when it comes to using videos.
I mean, even cameras, right?
Yeah. But I've even tried like 8K continuously on this and he's been really, really good. No issues of overheating as well. Then another thing, because as you know, I'm a Mac user, so the whole entire Mac ecosystem integration sometimes plays nicer than an iPhone.
Still baffles and impresses me.
Why do you think that is the case?
As you know, Apple is kind of like a walled garden, and the workarounds, I don't know if there's cooperation unofficially in the background between Vivo and Apple.
Yeah, we still don't know
But they could be using open standards just like how Pixel did AirDrop.
That's true.
Using, like open standard Wi-Fi to do it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Easy Share is awesome. I think to have that compatibility between a Vivo device and the macOS or the Apple ecosystem, I think it's fantastic for consumers.
Exactly. But my question to you and to even anybody who's watching this is that why does a brand like Vivo allow you to control your Mac with your phone like a mouse cursor, but that's something that is not included in Apple's very own device as well?
I feel it's about consumer choice. And you may have a Mac, but you may not have an iPhone. So having a Vivo device or an Android device that can play nice with every other device, I think that's an advantage.
Yeah. But if you have an iPhone and you have a Mac, you still cannot do what Vivo you can do on the Easy Share, like control a Mac. So that is my question. Why
control the Mac, maybe it's possible, just Apple hasn't, unleashed it yet.
Could be.
Maybe in another OS update.
Yeah.
But already, I think the integration between devices in the Apple ecosystem is amazing.
Not only for Vivo, but for Oppo, for for a lot of other brands as well. Another interesting thing is that while yes, they copied the Dynamic Island, but the Origin Island's idea of having a clipboard manager, I think that's really, really useful.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Again, like what you said, that could be like a future thing that now you can do. But it's a very interesting integration that Vivo has done, which even Oppo, while they also have their own similar Dynamic Island style, or even for Hyper OS as well, which is Xiaomi, but they still do not have that clipboard style of copy and pasting, which I think is a very, very good thing.
Well, I mean, as you know, Apple doesn't always have to be the first out of the blocks.
Yeah.
They are probably figuring out what's the more elegant way to do it with Dynamic Island, if they thought it was useful anyway.
Correct. In terms of the durability, the wear and tear on this is good because it's a matte finish. There's no scratches anywhere, but towards the top here, there's like a slight.
There's a ding.
No, it's like I really can't remember.
Maybe you hit it against something.
Yeah, I really can't remember. But to be fair, I'm the kind of person who likes to use a phone without a case.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just the outer finishing that's
could be
kind of scraped off.
because I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro Max without a case, and it's been okay. I think it's just like so happened that has happened. One of the things that I couldn't take it is that I removed the screen protector, the pre-installed screen protector, because it's not a bubbling one.
Yeah.
But credit when it's due.
It's not tempered glass, just a regular.
Yeah, it's just a normal screen protector, which is fine. Speaking of tempered glass, what's interesting is that, like for example, like you have the tempered glass and it's almost like broken.
It's broken.
I actually put on a tempered glass on my 17 Pro Max just for the sake of, and it actually cracked.
But that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect the screen.
But here's the
underneath.
thing: prior to that,
it never cracked.
Prior to not installing a screen protector, so are we at a point whereby that the screen that comes with an Apple device or any smartphones for that matter is better than a screen protector?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Because like last time it's like the extra layer, but now it feels like because now it feels like it's the same for Pris as well. So I got a glass screen protector for Pris on her 17 Pro and my 17 Pro Max, and next thing I know, she took it out and said, "Why? Oh, it cracked," but she didn't drop it.
Right.
So maybe it's the quality of the screen protector.
Maybe.
But my point is that, like even for you, it's
mine was an amazing story. Like I told you,
what's your story?
It was filming me playing pickleball as usual on tripod.
Okay.
Somebody hit a pickleball on the tripod, and this thing entirely fell on the ground. So
Lucky the camera module
it broke.
fine.
Yeah, it broke.
Okay. Did it fall on the front or in the back?
It fell like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better to not fall like this because that's
Yeah.
more prone to cracking.
Yeah.
It fell like this.
Okay.
So there's a huge crack down here. You
Okay.
can see.
Okay.
But yeah,
Hopefully it's just the outer part. Now, speaking of durability, I actually just came back from Singapore. I went to the Apple's durability lab.
Oh, you did?
Yes, so that's why I went to Singapore.
There's a durability lab in
I had no idea. So this was hosted by Apple.
Wow.
And it was quite interesting. But what they really wanted to emphasize a little more was the most important thing that they really needed to protect was the camera module.
Okay.
So they went through series of tests and all that showed us. So a reel will be coming out while you watch this. So this one comes out on Saturday night. The reel will be released the day before. So in case you haven't checked out that reel, make sure to check it out as well. Okay. Besides the screen protector and the matte back, the battery life is still okay, meaning like it's not as good as the Oppo Find X9 Pro, obviously because of the battery size. I'm getting about 6.5 to 7 hours of screen time. That's heavy use.
That's still good.
And it's about 2.5 days. Let's just put it that way.
That's good.
It is still good.
7
not
hours
the best. It's not like they're going to be winning awards about it, but it's still very, very good.
But I think the bottom line is heavy use. So it's not light use.
Yeah. It's like me using for cameras, taking photos.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
heavy use, 7 hours of screen time. That's a full on, 24 hour.
Yeah.
Basically a day's worth. So
exactly.
that's quite normal, and
Yeah.
I think that's acceptable.
So I think this is something also you mentioned about how it feels good in the hand.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
It feels
Looks
good
like
in the
an
hand.
expensive phone.
Although I'm not a big fan of the color initially, like this, they call it the dune sand or something along the lines,
beige.
like a brownish kind of color. I would prefer white as usual because I love white color, but it is still a very nice phone to hold, a very nice phone to use, using it daily. A little heavier on the top side because of the fact that the camera bump is huge. But I think the verdict of this after 3 months is that if you're a creator, I think this is definitely a phone for you because it's a very good phone. It has no issues when it comes to Wi-Fi, no issues when it comes to call dropouts, no issues with receptions, no issue with software. Software has been really hugely improved on Origin OS, which last week we actually talked about what's your favorite Android skin, and Origin OS is definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, I think Usually, while phones do not well after several months, the good news is that the Vivo X300 Pro is still a highly recommended phone for me and, of course, the rest of the team as well.
So the bottom line is, do you recommend this phone to someone who wants a flagship Android device, or if that person is a content creator, would you recommend this phone?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to photo. Like if the person just likes to take photos, it's a lot of people say the iPhone, which is true, but I still feel like the iPhone is so much nicer when it comes to video because of the log recording.
Yeah.
But if you really compare side by side, my only nitpick is the Vivo X300 Pro's ultra-wide camera at night is not the best. That's about it. That's what I can remember how it is. Other than that, I think a lot of people, like when I took a bunch of pictures, every time on a Vivo, and people look at it, like, oh my God, I can't believe that it was taken on the phone. It has happened since the X200 Pro, and it's continuing on right now on the X300 Pro as well. So yes, highly recommend. Good question, Abang. So that's the reason. As for the tech news, going on a similar brand, which is Vivo, the Vivo X200T is launched in India. Now, fortunately for all our friends in India, is that there are a lot of phones that is launched in India first. Some of them come to Malaysia. Some of them, like, it's okay, we are not coming to Malaysia.
Because Malaysia is only 33 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Population of 33 million. India is like 1 billion. So
exactly. And also I think that Vivo is a very strong brand in India as well, alongside with the Pocos of the world.
Yes.
So this X200T is apparently standing for turbo or performance.
Is this the first time they've done T?
I don't think they did a T before this.
I only remember they have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Only Xiaomi has the T, right? So
yeah, Xiaomi has a T. But I don't think Xiaomi's T is meant for turbo though. Usually Xiaomi's T is more like, okay, this is not the flagship, this is somewhere in between, because we had a conversation about like why isn't the T part of the so-called...
It was a very strong mid-range price flagship.
Exactly.
T for tengah.
T for tengah.
T for tengah, right in the middle. The processor is running the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus, which is an overclocked version of last year's flagship chip. Again, we talked about MediaTek, coming out from the smartphone market. Yeah. Hopefully, this is not their last. The display,
good point,
is a flat.
Almost forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a flat 6.78 inch. Unlike the curved X200 Pro, so this is a bit more curved, right? The turbo version is going to be completely flat, which gamers would appreciate a bit more. For me, I'm not a heavy gamer, which I don't care whether it's flat or curved, as long as it feels good in the hands, is fine. Cameras, the main will be a 50 megapixel Sony sensor, 50 megapixel 3x periscope, so which means that they didn't take it out, which is good. The ultra-wide 50 megapixel, and there's a 6,000 mAh battery with 90 watts of charging. So let's talk about this as a flagship killer, Abang, because in India, it's launched roughly after conversion of 2,600 ringgit. Now, if this comes to Malaysia at that particular price, it actually undercuts the S25 FE and the Xiaomi 15T Pro. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think the name gives you clues that it's literally the direct competitor to the Xiaomi 15 Pro. No, 15T Pro. Yeah. And I don't think there's hiding behind that name. So it's very purposeful.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and it's coming later, so it's more current. The specs are better.
Yeah, I think
the price point is good.
But why go for the X200? That's what I want to know. Not the X300. Why that?
Price comparison, I guess. There's a couple of hundred difference. And as you know, a market even like India is super price sensitive. So that $300 could mean a lot. And they're getting flagship level specs for a little bit less. Why not?
No, I guess what Syed is also trying to say is that X200 Pro or the number X200 is technically 2 years ago, because it's not the X300T.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the X200T.
It's flagship level, but maybe one generation behind kind of thing.
Or could it be maybe why they did that is because if they were to put as X300T, then people might think that, oh, it's better than the X300. That could be it.
Could be.
And then,
Like you say, tengah, right? So it's like in between.
it's right in between. Then apparently there's the issue with Zeiss. So give us a lowdown on that.
Yeah, the T series does have the T coating,
Yeah.
like the Zeiss, but it doesn't have the full-fledged Zeiss experience. So some of the portrait bokeh notes are not offered in this T device.
It could be a good thing though, because you know why? Sometimes, or most of the time, Vivo tends to over beautify their portrait mode. Like I took pictures of, even you turn it off completely. So maybe by removing that so-called Zeiss related image processing or that coating or whatever will reduce the beauty mode. We do not know. So I guess we have
maybe maybe they don't want to cannibalize their higher models with that.
Okay, so
It's kind of capping what's available for the consumers.
do you feel it's a deal breaker?
I don't think it's a deal breaker at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Considering the price,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a deal breaker.
So the next question is that will this remain an India or China exclusive? Of course, we do not know. But if you want to guess, would this be something that Malaysians would get? Because sometimes, like how the Redmi K series is rebranded as the Poco.
Yeah, the sub-brands and the sub-brands and the sub-brands.
Exactly, right? So this could be rebranded as an iQOO device in the market. Do you think that will happen?
Honestly, there's no reason why it shouldn't be available globally, especially in APAC region.
Because there is a huge following and fan base.
I personally don't get the iQOO sub-brand.
Same here. Same here.
I don't know why it exists.
Yeah.
Maybe they're filling some sort of niche, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, they know it better than I do. I'm not the expert here.
Okay.
I'm just by the sidelines, just doing some.
Yeah, I think the
commenting.
existence of iQOO has also confused a lot of people because.
It sounds Korean. Maybe it's supposed to sound Korean. Maybe it's supposed to sound.
But
foreign,
I always
right?
think about their collaborations. It's like iQOO is more like collaborations with a lot of brands. So like the last collaboration I had was with BMW. I think it's still going on. And it's all about speed and stuff. And it seems like a Poco
Sounds
kind
like Poco,
of.
yes.
Yeah, it sounds like a Poco competitor. Probably that's the only reason why they exist. But yeah, it's a brand that, believe it or not, we have never reviewed in the channel. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So yeah, let us know your thoughts about this T series from Vivo. Like what Abang Vernon says, that it is no hiding behind the name. This is definitely trying to compete with Xiaomi's T series or even the FE from Samsung as well.
But also the T series again was a little bit of a surprise for us.
It was
the Xiaomi.
a huge one.
Yeah. So this was another surprise on top of the surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about Poco, let's go to the parent company, which is Xiaomi.
company.
The Xiaomi 17 Max. Now, there is claim leaks revealing a 200 megapixel camera, but until now we do not know how the phone looks like. So, like even if you don't type it, there's no leaks, but the specs are leaks, right? Now, apparently, the huge rumor says that it's going to look very similar like the Xiaomi Mi Max 3. I kind of miss that phone.
Yeah.
Ben, also, it has confirmed that it's going to be the biggest phone in year 2026 because they are saying that it's the king of big phones. So they're going to come back in Q2 of 2026.
Like they say, go big or go home.
So speaking of go big and go home, here are the specs. Really massive. The battery is an 8,000 milliamps of battery. Wow. Silicon carbon, obviously, otherwise means the phone will be as big as my fist. So yeah, it's basically a power bank with a screen, and it supports up to 100 watts of wired and 50 watts of wireless charging.
Not bad. Good.
Very good.
Yeah.
6.9-inch Quad HD plus OLED display, almost like a 7-inch tablet. 6.9.
It's huge.
That's
what she said.
Yeah. So I mean, apparently the response is that some people wish that it was a 7.2-inch. For me, it's like, bro, that's too big, man. That's what she
But I mean,
said.
with such super thin bezels, it's possible to have
7.2 inches smartphone.
Yeah, I mean, it's diagonal, right? So it's not Yeah, gila besar, that's what she said also.
That's what she also said. Gila besar bang. Okay, stop it. Okay, the cameras, it's a big surprise because
yes.
usually Max phones get the budget cameras because it's okay. I give you a lot
of
of
budget device
because
it is a budget
especially when it comes to battery. Like I give you a lot of amazing big battery, but I give you not so good cameras. But this one's going to come with a 200 megapixel Samsung module camera. Makes sense because they are the ones who makes the best 200 megapixel sensors. Telephoto 50 times, periscope using Sony IMX sensor fine. The ultra wide is 50.
Pretty much industry standard. I mean, it's just common for now.
Unlike the Xiaomi 17 Pro or the 17 Pro Max, this is not going to have the secondary display. So I don't know whether you want to call the rear screen a gimmick per se, but this is like a straight up phone with very good battery, hopefully very good cameras performance. So the next question that I'm going to ask you before we talk about who is this for is this something that you think that when it comes out, people will immediately like drop every other phone and go and buy?
No, not really.
Why?
Not really. I think it's again a very niche product. Okay. This is for literally people who just want lots of battery life and a big screen.
But who doesn't want lots of battery life?
This takes it to another level, right?
Yeah,
it's 8,000.
Yeah, 8,000 is massive. Holy crap.
Probably lasts you 2 to 3 days if you.
Definitely more than 3 days because even like I said, the Vivo is like 2.5 days. So.
But what's interesting is the naming convention.
Yeah.
It's being called Xiaomi 17 Max. Is that the official name for it?
Yeah, we don't know.
They've completely dropped the Mi product line.
Yeah, they did.
They no longer use Mi.
Yeah.
I think it kind of confuses the entire nomenclature. And the last one was Mi Max 3. So this is an update to kind of that family tree. But it's been put together under the Xiaomi 17 line.
Yeah. And
I think it's a little bit confusing.
It is confusing because where does this lead to the Ultra then? So are you telling me that the Ultra is not as good, or are they positioning the Ultra to be like, oh, this one's very good when it comes to the cameras, and then they have that Leica edition, remember, with the rotating lens thing, and then there's a Max. So the Max is so much bigger. So it seems like it's not like what Samsung or even Apple is doing, whereby they're giving you different size screen with a bit better performance, but they seem like they're doing something that no other brands do, whereby every single version, it's totally different from each other, which totally caters to another user. Do you think this is a good approach? Because it seems like Xiaomi is the only one doing this.
In general, from a branding standpoint, there needs to be some sort of commonality to it, meaning it has to have some characteristics that makes it look like a family. And the naming convention is number one, but visually and design-wise, the design language has to be a little bit consistent. I'm not saying it has to look the same. I'm not saying that. But now there is a distinction between product to product. But I think the question is, where does Max sit within the lineup? So you have, I feel personally that the Max sits at the bottom. It sits at the very bottom.
But that's very unlike, right?
Number one, because of the price point. Number two, you have the standard Xiaomi 17, and then the Pro, and then the Ultra on top.
Wow. So the Max
is at the bottom because it's like a budget phone.
It's weird, right? Don't you think it's weird?
It's a bit weird. It's a bit of an oddball.
If they really wanted to follow the Mi Max 3, then you should just stick with that. I still have the Mi Max 3 at home.
But I think
I like the idea of the sliding and then you have the camera there, a full... Why? The name, because the name is confusing to me.
The name is a little
If they just call this the Mi Max 17, also fine. Because they're calling this the Xiaomi 17 Max.
I think they've dropped the Mi branding to unify the entire thing.
So
Xiaomi used to have a lot of products.
Your idea is of the where it stands is that Xiaomi 17 Max, Then Xiaomi. How about Xiaomi 17?
17 first. That's the base.
Okay,
level.
17.
That's the standard. It's like the
it's-
iPhone 17.
Oh, it's like the Plus.
Yeah, it's a bit of an oddball. It could be like an iPhone Air.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
it diverts from the actual family tree.
Okay,
It's still
okay.
part of the tree, but it's a little bit of a...
Yeah. So Xiaomi 17, Xiaomi 17 Max.
No.
Oh,
17
Pro.
Max at the bottom.
Okay. Wait. So 17 Max first.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's at the bottom. It's
All
at
the way bottom.
Yeah.
Even luggy bottom than 17.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So 17 Max, 17, 17
Pro,
Pro,
and Pro Max, yeah.
and then
Ultra.
17 Pro Max, and then there's Ultra.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would you agree? Where would you place it? I mean, based on
I would place it like this.
the simplest way is look at the price point, and the Max is going to be at the bottom.
Okay, I feel the Max will be second best, which means that Xiaomi 17, Xiaomi 17 Pro, Xiaomi 17 Max.
So you're treating it as a plus.
Yeah.
But the
Then
price
after
point
that-
is not doesn't.
What is the price point? Is there a price
I
point?
don't
Oh,
think
there's no
a-
leaked
there's
one.
no
Yes.
price point, but I think based on Mi Max and all that, it was like $900.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be the same level as the 17.
I feel like this should be on its own. It should not be mixed within.
So
the
it shouldn't be
exact number.
called Xiaomi 17.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. But like what I said, they already removed the Mi. So
Yeah, they've stopped using it for a while.
okay. So then, other than the fact that this is a power user's need because it's 8,000 milliamps of battery, this leak also means that China launch is looking to be in April or May. But the question is that if this is really something that is going to be coming out, again, similar like the Vivo T series that we mentioned, do you think that this is coming to a global market? Because we clearly missed out the 17 Pro, 14 Pro,
Yeah.
and
And a few other things,
Yeah, and
yeah.
and the 14 Pro came globally, but it didn't come to Malaysia. And also, the most obvious one is the 17 Pro and the Pro Max didn't even come to Malaysia.
That is so
If
weird.
I knew it was not going to come to Malaysia when I went to China, I should have bought it just for the sake of having it. But I didn't know that it's not going to be coming to Malaysia. I thought, there's a global version.
I thought it was really weird.
Yeah.
That was like such a unique phone. And also critically acclaimed by a lot of the media as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, seeing that the Max has always been available in Malaysia before, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be available here.
Yeah, the Mi
But
Max.
Xiaomi
yeah.
has made a couple of weird decisions that we never expected as well.
That's a very good
who
point.
knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Let's wait for official news then.
All right. So that was the two tech news that we found very, very helpful. Now, if you want to see other tech news that we have, every single day we have daily tech news on www.adamlobo.tv. So there's always at least 5 stories that we're going to be talking about, or side writes about that. So be sure to check it out as well. So this is the top 2 that we chose. Now, if you find any news that you find interesting, you want me and Vernon to discuss it together with you, also let us know in the comment section below, because we also have our community post like usual. Now, before we go into the community post, let's go to the ultimate segment, which is Abang Vernon's segment, which is Who Asked for This? Okay. Who asked for this?
I don't.
So under your category, what is it that you want to talk about, and why is this under this particular category?
Okay, so there's this company called NexComputer, not to be confused with the one that Steve Jobs bought over,
Yeah, that is with a
and which
T.
then was acquired by Apple, which then the Mac OS is currently based on. Okay, Next without the T.
Yeah,
NexComputer
without T. Yeah, it's next.
has opened pre-orders for NexPhone, which is a device that promises to blur the line between PC and smartphone.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's not just a phone, okay? So the trick is it supports Android, which is running on the base OS. It also has Linux built in. And if you fire up into desktop mode, it has Windows 11 in a multi-boot setup.
Okay.
And this pocket PC idea gives me nightmares about Windows CE, which is
Oh my God.
what Windows used to do.
Almost forgot about that.
Running Windows on a smartphone doesn't always sound good, and I don't think the execution was that great either. But anyway, this Pocket PC concept gives you that multi-boot functionality. It's not like Samsung DeX where you skin Android to make it look like a desktop. This is literally 3 operating systems running on a mobile device.
Got it.
So what it does, mobile mode, like I mentioned, runs standard Android for your daily phone use.
Okay.
It has a dev mode for developers. So if you want to do coding, it boots into full Linux. And number 3, in desktop mode, it boots, good luck to you, Windows 11 on ARM, which means you can actually run .exe files. Windows.
Every time when I see .exe files, I just think of viruses.
And when you connect it to a monitor using USB-C, just like we would on
so
on
apparently
Samsung
the
DeX.
USB-C hub is included in the box. So that's interesting. So it still
that's
needs an
interesting.
additional hub per se.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
at least it's included. So that's nice.
Exactly. Hardware-wise, nothing too great. It's a 6.58-inch 120 hertz display with 12 gigs of RAM, which is good. Lots of RAM. 256 gigs of storage. 64 megapixel single camera.
Single camera. Okay,
Yes,
because
and
it's
a
not-
5,000 milliampere battery. Milliampere hour battery.
Okay.
12 gigabytes RAM is definitely more than decent for Android. And I guess it's also pretty decent for Windows 11.
I don't know.
You want to run? Because some laptops have even less RAM.
Okay.
Some are running 8 gigabytes. It comes with a very rugged build for durability. And because it's positioned as a tool for, work and travel.
Yeah.
Price-wise, surprisingly affordable. Arguably. Approximately 2,199 Malaysian
That's
ringgit.
not bad though, the price. It's like 2,199 ringgit. If you're a Windows user or if you want the,
Does it come with a Windows license? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good
most
point.
likely because
I like the fact that it runs on Linux, which means that you can do a lot of, imagine doing something like home assistance, like deep smart home ecosystem with a screen. That'd be kind of cool. 2,199 ringgit for something that is a bit more portable. I think Windows user, the question is that can you game on the Windows 11 boot up system desktop mode on this particular phone?
Let's not forget this. What this phone is, and who this phone is actually targeted to. I guess it's supposed to be targeted to programmers and coders and people who do that productivity stuff. But the question is, do coders and developers code on a smartphone? I don't think so. They're coding on laptops.
Yeah. Bigger screens.
Either running
vertical
Linux.
screens.
I mean, some do run on Windows.
Yeah.
A lot run on Macs. I don't see coders coding on tablets, which could actually be an option.
Yeah.
But because tablets don't run full Windows mostly, you've got Android tablets, you've got iOS tablets, and some Windows tablets which are not great. But yeah, I'm just saying who is this product actually for? And as you know, Windows on ARM used to suck a lot. When it came out in 2012, remember the Surface RT?
Yeah.
Terrible.
I never used it, but
Hardware was terrible because at that time, the hardware was bad.
Okay.
Not enough memory, mostly. And if you're running ARM, Windows on ARM, there's no compatibility for x86 apps, which is Windows native apps.
Yes, correct.
You had to basically download apps from the Metro store. Nightmare, because there were maybe 7 apps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fail Max. And the hardware
It's
was
like
so slow.
Huawei
It's
App
really
Gallery
bad.
20 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, fast forward to that, you had 2017 with Windows 10 on ARM. Much better because the improved hardware. You had better performance for sure. And then fast forward to Windows 11 on ARM has also improved leaps and bounds because of the full support for Windows apps. But remember, ARM means you're running on emulation, just like how Apple Silicon ARM architecture.
Yeah.
You're running on emulation for some of the older apps.
Yep.
So this is exactly the same. And the question boils down again, do you want to run Windows on your phone? And the question is, but why? Can you
Question is,
insert
would you
the
even
Ryan
run
Reynolds
Windows at
GIF,
all?
please? Can you please put the Ryan Reynolds GIF, please? But why?
Performance though, do you feel like a mid-range smartphone like this with 12 gigabytes of RAM can actually handle not one but 3 operating systems?
But I think one important detail that's not in is what kind of CPU is it running? What architecture?
It's an unnamed Qualcomm CPU.
So it's an unnamed Qualcomm, and if they say it's a mid-range device, it's probably a 7 series,
Yeah, probably.
right? And I'm a little bit skeptical how that's going to run well with Windows. Android may be okay. The 12 gigabyte RAM memory definitely helps a lot, but otherwise, I think it's very ambitious. To be
Yeah.
running 3.
Yeah.
Linux is great. Linux is great on
because
whole
you don't
hardware.
need that power specs, right? But with the existence of this, whether or not you ask for this, which we will ask you right after this, is this towards the vision of the next phone being, the one device vision where you can just use one phone for everything? Could this be the start, or could it be something which feel like Ubuntu Touch or DeX, which is still quite limited, although improved a lot compared to last time? Do you think that this particular phone, when it's out, because we haven't tested it out, of course, but if you had to guess, do you think that this will be the very first phone that gets it right?
I don't think so. I think it's a novel concept. They're trying to execute it. I would love to try it out.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it works, but performance-wise. But I can see current devices like the Z Fold 7 and the Trifold being something that's going to be perfect for traveling coders.
Okay.
If you're a true coder, you're using a command line, a terminal to do all your coding. Brilliant. I think it'll be good enough to run this kind of stuff without resorting to something like a multi-boot concept.
Okay.
That this device is trying to sell you.
Yeah.
And don't forget a keyboard, because it's got no keyboard.
Definitely need a keyboard as well. So, not who is this for, but who asked for this?
Maybe 3 people in the world.
One who likes Android, one who likes Linux, and one who likes Linux 11.
No, because
But it's still very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I'd like to get my hands on it
Yeah.
and try it out. Yeah.
I still feel like we are still in a world whereby an Android user would buy an Android phone if they just want an Android device. A Linux user would just get a Linux proper hardware with the proper screen anyway. I don't think they want to be that mobile. I'm trying to understand which side of a Linux user needs to be mobile. Windows 11, I don't know, because I never touched Windows for the longest time as my daily laptop. I've reviewed, but that's about it. But are we at a point of time whereby like, hey bro, let's load Windows on my phone? Yeah, because when you're on the go, you're not going to be using Windows unless you just bring your laptop, you're sorted. There's no limitation. You don't have to have battery issues. You have a bigger screen. Because if you're going to bring this next phone with the hub and go like, oh, I still need a bigger screen, you might as well buy a laptop.
So the point is that you still need to bring an external screen with you to run.
Then just get a laptop sorted, right? I personally think that this project will fail. That's just me. Okay, community segment time. As usual, Syed will be asking questions every Tuesday on our channel at our YouTube community page. So in case you are just listening to the podcast, be sure to head over there because we need you all to check out the poll. And unfortunately, it only is limited up to 4 different choices. So that's why we get you to comment as well. The question from Syed is that component prices are really skyrocketing. So which direction, if you had to be a brand, so which direction should brands take
Direction is going up.
for the next generation of smartphones? Let us know in the comments. The first answer is that keep the specs high and raise the price, which is still not the lowest. But interesting, that vote got about 15%. Next one is lower specs but keep the price same, which is doubtful. And then it's like, I'm keeping my current phone. And then the fourth one is that I'm switching to a mid-range phone or mid-range phones in general. Before we go into the comments, the result shows that I'm keeping my current phone is the highest percentage, followed by keep specs high and raise the price is number 2. Number 3 is I'm switching to mid-range phone. Number 4 is lower specs, keep the price same. Do you agree with this? Number 1. Number 2, what are your thoughts about this?
I think there's 2 ways to go about this. Number 1 is from the brand standpoint, meaning the manufacturer's standpoint. And one is a consumer standpoint.
Okay.
The consumer standpoint is I'm keeping my current phone. I think that's wise. Or buy one generation before.
Okay.
You can buy an old generation flagship and you'll be kind of set for a little while. From the brand standpoint, manufacturer standpoint, you cannot stop innovating because that race to build a better product using the latest technology, that is still going to happen whether the prices are going up or not.
Okay.
Yeah. It's maybe you get lower sales in general.
Okay.
Yeah. Lower specs and keep the price. I think that's one strategy, and that's what some brands do. Like they still keep an older generation in the lineup using older hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. And to maintain sort of consistent pricing. Apple does it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're good at it.
Okay.
The X200T.
Yeah, a good example is the X200T, where you have flagship level specs, but keep to a certain price point that you have some consumer demand. Switching to mid-range smartphones, I don't think there's a problem with that because the mid-range smartphones are so good, right? The base level is very high, a very good quality, and yeah, there's no harm in that either as a decision or an option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your vote from here?
My vote is keep specs high and raise price.
Okay.
From a brand standpoint.
Yeah, I know. So here's my take. I feel this question is very confusing because you ask which direction should brands take, and I say I'm keeping my current phone. So can you explain? I don't understand.
It's more like
because you say which direction should brands take, and then you put there. So brand saying I'm going to keep my current phone.
yeah.
Hey.
It's more like from a consumer standpoint. Like
Yeah, but your question is that which direction should brands take, not consumer standpoint. This is your question, Ma? Am I correct or wrong?
Yeah.
Right? So I feel your question is very confusing. So when I read it, I'm like, hey, but apparently everybody got it except for me. Because again, the question asked is that which direction should brands take for the next generation of smartphones? Tell us below. So the question is that if you're at a brand, what should be your decision? But if the answer choice, I'm keeping my current phone, that's not a brand one. You get what I mean? So again, the question must make sense. Or to me, the question did not make sense. So that's why I wanted to have this discussion in front of everybody. So for me, from a brand's perspective, number 3 and number 4 does not make sense because it's not a brand saying it. Number 1 and number 2 make sense. So if number 1 and number 2 make sense, then yes, keep the specs high and raise the price. Same like what iPhone and all is doing. So because the question does not make sense, so that's the reason why I would go with 1 and 2. So Syed, you know what to do with the questions moving forward because this question does not make sense. Anyway, let's go into the votes. There's still 195 votes, which is good.
People love smartphones, I guess.
But yeah, again, but it goes down to the question again, right? The question was for the brands, but people are going towards the 70% consumer side. So if the question was written in a way where it's for the consumers, then it makes sense. Okay, anyway. Just Rose says, bought the 15R for $599
15R.
week ago.
OnePlus.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Got
yes.
it. OnePlus. Sorry, I've never touched OnePlus for so long. So perfect timing.
Not going to exist. So
Fatboy Channel says they have to keep releasing to keep investors happy. Agreed. So it will. Yeah. So you will have similar specs in a different body and camera island placement style. similar to what you said. Like, releasing it in a very different way in order to, and maybe take certain things. Nash Day says phone prices are already expensive as it is. Now it's going to even up even more. ... Yes, because gone are the days where a good smartphone, 1,500 ringgit, so cannot get. Marian says, got my Red Magic 11 Pro December 2025. We'll keep this for at least 4 to 5 years. Again, never review
4 to 5, okay.
That is quite ambitious.
Yeah. 4 to 5 years.
Weaker 1986 says, I bought the Oppo Find X9 Pro. Good on you. I wonder how much the Vivo X300 Ultra and the Oppo Find X9 Ultra will cost. Exactly. It's going to be like so much more expensive if that is the case. Afik says, but to think about it, now that the hardware is getting expensive and all the brands will try to compensate this by optimizing their software, right? But let's say if this happens, would the current phone have higher specs, get better improvement? Very good question as a question. So can you answer?
What was the question again?
So the question is that if the hardware is getting expensive and all the brands is trying to compensate this, they might optimize their software. But if this really would happen, would the current phone that has high specs get better improvement because by just optimizing the software?
I don't think it applies to this particular question alone.
Yeah.
In general, your purpose is to optimize your hardware fully.
Got it.
Software. So I don't think it's a one-off thing that is exclusive. Brands do it all the time. You have to. You're trying to extract as best performance from your hardware.
Yeah.
As best possible.
Good point.
Yeah.
We have user but now gone. What a name.
But now
bought the Vivo X300 Pro before the little price hike. Has it actually gone out recently? I don't think so,
Vivo?
especially not in Malaysia. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Using the Poco F4, we'll stay with the Poco F4. Wow. F4, good job.
F4.
Until the phone is dead, even if it no longer supports a custom ROM, this phone. Thank you guys so much for your answer. But like I said, all of the answer does not answer the question. Because the question, it's again is placed in a very weird way because everybody's answering based on instead of which direction should brands take. What are you going to do for your next choice? Are you going to keep your current phone or switch to mid-range phone? I guess that's one of the reasons why it is there. Anyway, hopefully next week Beside come up with a better question because it's confusing as hell. So our community questions we'll be asking every single week on Tuesday, so be sure to tune in over there as well. As for videos, we have released the Vivo X300 Pro. In case you haven't seen it, the 3-month review as we mentioned. We will be reviewing the comparison video, like I said, spoiler alert. That's why you're tuning here in the podcast, because we tell you things that is not obviously going to come out or going to come out, which is the Vivo X300 Pro versus the Huawei Pura 80 Ultra. Yes, a Pro versus Ultra does not make sense. Well, you need to check it out as well. Other than that, there are a couple of embargo releases. Of course, Unpacked is coming really soon. So stay tuned for that. So the rumor is 25, 26 or something along the lines. We haven't gotten the official confirmation on that. So once we do that, we'll be announcing that. So that is what is going to be happening. So in between the Chinese New Year week, there's going to be a lot going on. Speaking of which, next week I'll be in China again for an embargo launch, so I cannot mention. So we might do this remotely. We might. Hopefully that the timing of my flying and all is perfect. Otherwise, we might do it Saturday. We'll see how it goes. But yes, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode number 45 of What the Tech. My name is Adam Lobo.
My name is Vernon. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.